Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I thought what I'd do is a update of my Border Wars, the Border Reivers project. Now this was was going to be one of my projects for 2023, and I announced that just after New Year. And I've already made quite a bit of progress on it already. So just to remind you, Border Wars, this is a new, it was a Kickstarter brought out by Iain at Flags of War, and there are several different boxes of mounted troops, foot troops, but also farm families, civilians as well, that you can buy. Now I think these are going to go on sale, they're probably on sale already on Flags of War website if you want to get hold of these, and he's also started a new Kickstarter now for a different set of troops as well. So that's Border Wars. So we brought out the Border Reivers. Now what I decided to do with these was, sorry about this, Iain, but I decided to do these as Spanish for the Italian Wars. So there's four different kinds of mounted troops and several different kinds of infantry. So I'll just take you through some of the troops already. So this is how I painted these up. So basically they're kind of Spanish infantry and cavalry from the later Italian wars, probably Battle of Pavia, 1525 onwards, probably into the 1530s. And I think they've come up quite nicely. If I just move the camera just to get a bit more light from the window there. Yeah, okay. So obviously a guy in a cuirassier, tassets, with a sword on horseback. We've got men with shields and spears. Okay. We've got crossbowmen. And as I say, they painted up really nicely, and I'm hoping that I'm going to use these alongside my Wargames Atlantic Conquistadors. Now the reason why I painted these up is I want to use them as maybe a command base or a command retinue for the Italian wars, and I'm going to use them as the command of the the Marquis of Pescara. Now the Marquis of Pescara, he was one of the commanders, one of the generals for the Spanish at the Battle of Pavia, and I think these would work really nicely as a command unit for the Marquis of Pescara. Okay, who was one of the Italian commanders. So those are the mounted troops, and the foot troops are quite nicely designed as well. I'm just going to move the computer there. Okay, so quite a lot of detail on these, very nicely sculpted. I've kind of gone through these already, but not the painted versions. So if you're interested in Border Reivers on the Border Wars project from Flags of War, I suggest you pick up some of these. Guys with spears, probably put a flag on him, probably a guidon, just to kind of mark the unit, and finally a more kind of commander, a sword and poignard. Right, so that's pretty much where I am at the moment. So I've kind of finished painting those up. Now, the reason why I'm going to use them alongside the Conquistadors is that the Conquistador figures are very similar in terms of size and height and shape. So on the left we've got a Wargames Atlantic Conquistador, and on the right we've got a Flags of War Border Reiver. And they're almost identical, aren't they? I don't know if you use the same sculptor, but they're very similar in the way they look. Okay. So, Flags of War, Wargames Atlantic. Okay. And the same as some of the others as well. So we have a Flags of War on the right, Wargames Atlantic on the left. So they work perfectly in terms of scale. Now, as you already know, I've got quite a few of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically mix them together to use them as my Spanish. Now, there's a big debate and discussion about whether or not they are correct in terms of their uniforms and their clothing and weapons they're using and their helmets and things like that. But I did find that it was quite difficult to track down exactly what they were wearing. And in pictures that I've seen of the period, you know, the Spanish were dressed like this with the floppy caps and the baggy hose and the high boots and the helmets in particular. So I don't think there's a problem using conquistadors and border reivers as late Spanish in the Italian Wars. And if you just take a look at this is from the book The Italian Wars. This is number 3, Battle of Pavia, from retinue to regiment, and this is a picture of the Marquis of Pescara. Obviously it's an artist's interpretation at the Battle of Pavia. So his helmet, his armour, the colouring is very similar to what I've decided to go with for mine. So I'm quite happy to use these for Pavia and later in terms of the Italian Wars, for the way they look. And what I might do as well, instead of leaving these individually, I might start to base these some of these up as command units, because if we're doing pike and shot, obviously we need commanders. So if I put 3 together on a base, okay, my favourite big red back bases, there we go, got a command unit there if we put 3 together. Okay, so put 3 together on a command unit, and they work quite nicely alongside, because I've already got my some of my Spanish on command units already. So this is a Spanish commander with a guy with a flag, and probably need to put a flag on him, and a redolero, a Spanish swordsman with shield. So you know, this fits for Pavia and later. Okay, so he's already a Spanish command base. So we've done some Spanish command bases already, and some Landsknecht command bases as well. So Landsknechts. So okay, so with these guys I need to put flags on them. Okay, so this is how I like to kind of organise my command bases for the Italian Wars. So that's where I am at the moment. So I've finished off most of the border reivers, the border wars models from Flags of War, and as I say, there's another Kickstarter coming out soon, and I think they are now available on the Flags of War website. I'll put the link in the description, but you can check that out if you want to get hold of some of those. And as I say, I'm going to use these for my Spanish, for the Battle of Pavia and later Italian Wars troops. And that is pretty much it. That's where I've got with the border reivers. So I'm probably coming to an end with those now. I've got maybe 2 or 3 more figures to finish off, just finish painting. And then I'm going to dive back into Wars of the Roses. I've actually started to do some Burgundian halberdiers and crossbowmen and pikemen, and I'm also doing some Swiss as well for my Wars of the Roses army, so I'll give you an update on those as well. And next week we're also going to see the release, hopefully, of the figures for Piano Miniatures Alps of Flame Kickstarter, and they're the Tyrolean revolt during the Napoleonic Wars. There's Austrians, there's Bavarians, there are Tyrolean revolutionaries and citizens, and I've ordered quite a few of those. So if I get those next week, I will kind of go through those, unpack them, and let you take a look at those. And to be honest, they look absolutely superb. Piano Miniatures Napoleonics range is absolutely gorgeous, and I do love that kind of white metal look that they have for those. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. This has just been a quick update on where I am at the moment with my Spanish in for the Italian Wars. If you know of any ways in which I can find out more information about uniforms and about where they looked at that particular period in history, then let me know. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they are correct, or almost correct in terms of the way they look, but I know there is some debate about exactly what troops were wearing at that period. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch up with you later. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Give me a like. Okay, I'm trying to push towards 1,000 subscribers now, and I will catch up with you next week when I hopefully will review the Alps of Flame Kickstarter. Thanks, take care, bye.